Every empire swears its money is safe. Every government insists its promises will last forever. And every time, history proves them wrong. From Rome to France, from the Confederacy to modern Lebanon, people have woken up to find their savings worthless, their salaries meaningless, and their futures stolen by systems they thought were solid. Collapse isn't rare. Collapse is the rule. The question isn't whether financial systems fail, it's how you survive when they do. We look at our bank balances, our national currencies, and we assume they are bedrock. But money is not bedrock. Money is trust, and trust can vanish overnight. That's why history is brutal and priceless. Because every collapse leaves behind clues, lessons, patterns, and warnings about what truly protects wealth and what evaporates into dust. And if you look closely, you'll notice something. The survivors were never the ones who trusted most. They were the ones who doubted first. The Byzantine Empire. The eastern half of Rome that somehow survived 1,000 years longer than the west. At the center of its power was the gold solidus, a coin so pure, so reliable, that merchants from Europe to Asia accepted it without question. For centuries, it was the closest thing the medieval world had to a global reserve currency, but power tempts. And temptation always wins. Just as Rome once destroyed its silver coin, Byzantium began debasing its gold, shaving its purity, stretching it thinner, mixing in cheaper alloys. At first, no one noticed. Then, trust cracked. The coin that had anchored trade for centuries became a hollow promise. The economy faltered. The empire weakened. What survived? Not government decrees, not paper promises, but real assets, gold, land, and property beyond the empire's reach. That's the first timeless lesson. When rulers debase their money, value escapes to things they can't counterfeit. Then came the Black Death. Between 1347 and 1351, half of Europe died. Cities emptied. Villages vanished. Trade routes broke. But what followed wasn't just tragedy. It was transformation. With half the labor force gone, workers suddenly had leverage. Wages rose. Land grew cheap. For those who had cash, silver, or goods, opportunity exploded. They bought property for pennies. They rebuilt wealth on the ruins of the old order. Centuries later, during COVID, history rhymed again. Supply chains broke. Governments printed trillions, and inequality surged. Those with liquidity, investors, asset holders, grew richer. Those living paycheck to paycheck fell behind. The pattern is cruel, but constant. Crises punish the unprepared and reward the liquid. Florence, 1340s. The financial heart of Europe. Its banks, Bardi, Peruzzi, were the giants of their time, lending to kings and popes alley. Until one king, Edward III of England, refused to pay. In an instant, Florence's great houses fell. Depositors were ruined. Trade froze. The lesson? Too big to fail is a lie as old as money. Institutions don't exist to protect you. They exist to protect themselves. When they fall on you. The American Civil War, behind the battles and the speeches, was another war, a war over money. The Union printed greenbacks, paper money backed by faith, not gold. At first, it worked. Then inflation bit. In the South, the Confederacy printed graybacks and drowned in them. By 1865, Confederate bills couldn't buy bread. Families carried bags of money worth nothing. Salaries evaporated overnight. Only those who held land, gold, or food kept their footing. Everyone else watched a lifetime of savings turn to dust. America has already lived through a currency collapse. It just forgot the lesson. France, 1790s. The revolution toppled the monarchy and replaced it with paper. Assignats, backed by confiscated land, were supposed to stabilize the economy. Instead, the government printed too many. Each note devalued the last. Prices soared. Food vanished. When trust broke, the notes became kindling. And the winners weren't the patriots. They were the realists who held gold, food, or property. Asia, 1997. A speculative attack on the Thai baht ignited a regional firestorm. Currencies collapsed. Debts denominated in dollars became unpayable overnight. Thailand, Indonesia, South Korea. Each nation begged the IMF for rescue. But rescue came with strings: austerity, privatization, control. The pain fell on citizens. The profits went to those holding foreign assets. It wasn't just a crisis. It was a transfer of wealth. Debt, when owed in another man's money, is a trap. When the storm hits, the debtor drowns, not the creditor. From Byzantium to Argentina, the pattern never changes. Paper money collapses. Debt enslaves. And the survivors are never the ones who trust the system, but those who see its cracks before it breaks. Because collapse isn't history. It's reality. Right now, in Lebanon, citizens are learning that lesson again. In 2019, banks locked their doors. People woke up to find their accounts frozen, their currency destroyed. Lifetimes of savings gone overnight. Doctors, teachers, engineers, all wiped out. And that's the final truth history teaches. When systems fail, trust fails first. When trust dies, money dies with it. The question is never if. It's when.